Hello everyone, this is the first lesson recording for IM1, March 19th, 2021. A quick brain teaser. Which spiral differs from others? When you look at these four spirals, which one's different? Pause the video and see if you can figure it out. The correct answer is C, because when you look at each of the spiral, if I count one side, two side, third side, it's the third side that is big in the area. It's 1, 2, 3 third side and 1, 2, 3 the third side, but this one is actually the second side that is big in area. Let's begin with some announcement. Next class you're going to have your quiz number 4. It's going to be on exponential growth and decay with situation with percent increase and decrease as well, and also equations of growth and decay. Also, recognizing number of solutions in linear equations. Remember, you could have one solution, infinitely many solutions, or no solution at all. And finally, we also covered solving absolute value equations. It's going to be on it as well. So you should be very familiar with homework number 16, 17, 18, the last 3 homework. Now we're going to tackle inequalities. So to get you started, I'm going to ask you to work on card number 1 to 10 of decimals. It should be very quick. Okay, you're just making a guess and you're seeing other classmates answers at the same time. Here we go. This is card number 1. Okay, plot the number. Drag the blue dot to a place on the number line indicating the number that is less than 3. What does less than mean? It means something that is smaller than. Okay, so I'm looking for a number that is smaller than 3. Okay, I can think of 2. Maybe 2 would work. Right, then you move to the next screen. Drag the blue point to another place on the number line indicating the number that is less than 3 again. Alright, so I had put in the previous card, I had put it in on number 2. So I'm going to put it somewhere else. Okay, I know that 0 will be less than 3, so I'm going to put it there. Alright, so I have my 2 spots. I am going to put the third one again, less than 3. But it's asking me to place where you think none of your classmates will. Okay, maybe they won't put anything near halfway. So, or anywhere along here. Okay, so then you would do that. Alright, it says, nice work. What would the graph look like if all your classmates' points were shown along with others? Okay, so what do you think it would look like if everybody's work was overlaid on top of your work? Okay, where would all their dots be? What would that look like? That's the question you need to ask and answer. And the graph here shows your points, that's blue, and your classmates' points. Well, there are no classmates' points because we haven't done it yet. Okay, but in actuality, you should see a whole lot of points everywhere here. Okay, how does the actual graph compare to your prediction? And then finally, well, not finally, but it's asking you now to drag each blue point to a place on the number line indicating the number that is greater than -1. Okay, greater than means something that is bigger than -1. So think of a number that is bigger than -1. 1 is bigger than -1, or 2 is bigger than -1. Maybe 2.5 is bigger. Okay, anywhere along here would be fine, right? So I'm just going to drag it there. And it's asking you to place it where none of your classmates would. Okay. Yikes, it looks like at least one of your points doesn't indicate the number that is greater than 1. Go back, fix your mistake, and then return there. I think that is a mistake. Actually, that was not a mistake. There were 3 points that I just did not do. I just moved one of the points. That's why. Alright, then card number 7. Nice work. What would the graph look like if all your classmate points were shown along with yours? Okay, try to when all your classmates' work is shown, then it's going to be coloring up a whole lot of numbers on the number line. Want it? The graph here shows your point and your classmates' point, It doesn't really show other people's, but let's imagine that they are there. How does the actual graph compare to your prediction? And now this is a challenge problem. Here are class results from another challenge. Drag each point to a place on the number line indicating the number that is. How would you finish these directions so a group of students will produce the graph similar to this one? Okay, so this is what the class predicted or place where they put their dot. What do you think? It looks like all the numbers that is bigger than 4, like little over 4 and then over 5 and so on and so forth. So the number that is bigger, we can say in inequality term, greater than. Greater than, what is the number? Greater than 4. I'm thinking that this will be greater than 4, and that's going to be what I'm going to be sharing with my class. Here's a class result from another challenge. What do you think the students were doing? Drag each point to a place on the number line indicating a number that is, what do you think the rest of the sentence was? We're talking about all the dots being on a number line that is less than -2. So I'm going to say it's less than or smaller than -2. So we get that number from what is the boundary. We call this -2 the boundary point, and all the numbers that are less than. Okay, then now let's get back to our slide and compare equations versus inequality. We know how to deal with equations. We've dealt with a lot of different types of equations. How does inequality and equation differ? Well, equation, a number is equal to 3. It always has an equal sign. Inequality, you're going to have something like a number is less than, okay, or number is greater than -2. So the expression that you're going to have is different. You're always going to have something equal. Equal sign is going to be there, while as inequality, you're going to see phrases like less than or greater than. There's only one possibility with equation, while as with inequalities, there are infinite possibilities. Just like when we were exploring the Desmos activity. When we say a number that is less than 3, there are a whole lot of possibilities, possible numbers that were less than 3. Your classmates and you came up with many different numbers. So, and when you plotted them together, it just formed a solid line. We colored in the line practically. So that's what's going on here. There are infinite possibilities. The math symbol for equation is going to be the equal sign, and the math symbol for inequality is these 2 signs. Okay, so that the first one is greater than, and the second one is less than, and we'll talk about in a minute. So the 2 inequality symbol is greater than or less than. When you see the inequality symbol, I want you to think of it as a greedy alligator here. Okay, so alligator mouth is opening up, and it is always greedy, so it wants to open to a side that is bigger. So the first inequality sign is read as greater than, the second one is read as less than, and the symbol compares from left to right. Okay, so depending on whether so for example, if you have x is greater than 3, so x with inequality sign opening to the left, think of this. Okay, so x is, now how do I read this? Well, remember, think of the greedy alligator mouth. It always is hungry, so it's opening to the bigger side. So x is bigger than 3, that's what it's saying. So that means, how do we read that? Bigger is same as greater in math. So x is bigger or greater than 3. That's how you read it from left to right. What about this? How would you read this? X is, okay, looking at this alligator mouth or the inequality sign is opening to 5. That means 5 is a bigger number than x. So if 5 is bigger, that means x is smaller than 5, right? So x is smaller than, or we say less than 5. So that's how you read it. So with that, you're going to be working on card number 11 to 15 of Desmos. Okay, card number 15 is a card sort. You are matching up the different inequalities. Okay, so I have some graphs here. Okay, when you see this, where are the dots? Dots are all in the places where it is smaller than 4. We say that x, the numbers are less than, smaller than is same as less than 4. X is less than 4, or n, the number is less than 4. So we are looking for x, n is less than positive 4, so it's this one. And a number is less than 4. Okay, so there we go. We've matched them up. Let's try to match this. In this case, the number is bigger, all the numbers that are bigger than -2. So we say number is bigger than -2, a number is greater than -2, a number that is greater than -2. There we go. And what is the expression for it? N is greater. Greater than means it's going to be, alligator is going to be pointing to the number. So it's opening to the left. Then this one is where a number is bigger than 0. It's number greater than 0. And number is greater. Is this greater? No, it's less than. Okay, it's a smaller than because it's the alligator mouth is opening to 0. So what is this? Is opening to n. So that's the bigger one. And then finally this number is smaller than -3. So number is less than. So -3 is the bigger number, n is the smaller number. So here we go. And how do I write that in a number less than -3? Okay. Card number 12. Earlier, you and your classmates showed lots of numbers that are greater than -1. If you want to show all numbers greater than -1, you should shade the number line like this. Move on to the next string. Okay, so you see that's why it's the shaded number line is a result of all the different possibility along there. Okay, and when you start just coloring in all the possibility, you end up shading it, and that's what number that is greater than -1 will look like. Here are two number line diagrams. How are they similar? How are they different? So when you look at that, they're both on the -1, and to the right of it, it's shaded. That means all the numbers that are bigger than -1 are shaded. But we have the open circle and the closed circle on -1. So that's the difference. Okay, so here, open versus closed. The open dot above means that -1 isn't included. Okay, so the -1 is not part of the solution. While as the closed dot below means that it is included. Alright, now match each expression with the number line expression. So when something is included, that means it can be equal to it as well. So when you see a closed dot, that means it could be equal to -2 and bigger. The number could be equal to -2 and bigger. That means we're looking for inequality that looks like this. This is combination of greater than and equal to. That bar at the bottom means it's equal to. It's a shorthand for equal to when you're combining inequality with equal sign. So what about this? X is bigger than 1. X is bigger than 1, or X is greater than 1. And notice there is no equal sign. There is no bar at the bottom. That means 1 is not included. So on 1 there should be open dot like that. So this is when they are all matched up. Notice what's different.